everyone. So now I'm going to tell you about one of the world's biggest problems. Okay, so today we have many problems like school violence and superstitions. But one of the most biggest problem is what we know today as drugs. Well, drug is something that is addictive and it's hard to break it the addictive. But also drug has the ability to kill people and take over their own lives. Okay, so now there are many kinds of drugs, and these are some famous ones that you should know and how to recognize it. Okay, can you see the colorful candies here? In fact, they're not candies. They are drugs. This is drugs in the form of the candies. Okay, here is another kind of drugs. It's heroin, and its may look like flour, and it's white. Okay, so here is so here is another kind of drug is methamphetamine, and this kind of drug is white, small, and it kind of look like salt or just look like flour, like heroin. And also there are some new drugs too, and one of the newest drugs today is LSD. It is a paper stamp. We also call them paper stamp. Okay, so and it is very hard to recognize that who has used this kind of drugs because it have no taste, no smell, and also they are very dangerous. Okay, and it's small. It also look like an original stamp, but not the stamp that we used to post today. Just like a tiny stamp. Okay, so much of these drugs are dangerous. They can also affect the life, the family, the economy, and the social life of other peoples too. Okay, so let's come to the life first. When people use drugs, their health will get weaker over time, and also they have no longer have the ability to learn or work. Okay, so when people use drugs, they would have a disease called HIV and AIDS. Now, when people use drugs, they will have HIV, and then they will have AIDS, and then they could die and have, or if they live, they can have ridiculous appearance. Okay, so let's come to the family. Well, if the mother have using drugs, she would have HIV, and also her children can get HIV too. Okay, okay, so also her children could get some appearance problems, and they could also die. Okay, so also their family would have no peace, and also their children could get abandoned. Okay, so also for the economy, well, when people use drugs, they will have addictive, and also they would do anything to buy drugs. Okay, and also drug is often sold with a high price. So so people who use drugs could do anything, includes killing people or stealing money. So, and also they could get too broke. Okay. So also now let's go to the social life. Oh, when in the social life, people will have a worse life, and also they could kill people or stealing money from people. So they could go to jail because these things. Okay, so also they could beat people when they don't feel well or they feel angry. Okay, and also these drugs are dangerous for their life, family, economy, and social life. Okay, so we need to avoid these. Okay, can you see this picture? This picture was a man who pushing these stones. This urine, the methamphetamine, okay, and some other kinds of drugs off the cliff. So this picture meant that people will have to get away from drugs quickly and abandon drugs. Also, drug is the world abandoned thing. So when we use it, we might go to jail. Okay? And also, drugs could affect the other life too. So when you see someone who's selling drugs or someone who's using drugs, tell them to throw that away. But you better not get into these problems because you may get something. But anyway, just avoid drugs and always tell people to say no to drugs because drugs could get some problems like they could go to death, and also they will have some problems with their body and in their spirits too. Okay, and they can often get headaches too. Okay, so drug is a dangerous thing, so never use drugs again. Okay, so this is the end of my video. Goodbye.